because before the Harry Potter books, before the Harry Potter movies, I was not into reading at all. Hello! First off, thank you for getting me to the 100 subscriber stage. It's an amazing accomplishment. I mean, I've had this channel for about quite a few years, and it's taken quite a while to get it up, to get the views up and everything, and this year it just seems to have, something seems to have clicked. And welcome aboard to all of you who are on my subscribers list. Do stay tuned on my channel, because there's going to be a lot more content the next year. I've just finished editing like all of my books, so that means that I have plenty more time and space in my noggin to actually dedicate my time to getting more content out there on YouTube, which is what I've been wanting to do for a while. So this video is kind of like a thank you to all of you for subscribing, and it's kind of like a celebratory thing. I thought it would be quite nice to just kind of give you a little background into what I do. So I am a multimedia artist and writer, and I dabble in like animation, graphic design, illustration. I'm more illustration based, to be honest. I love films. I'm all about films. Ever since I was like a child, about 5 years old, I would watch, like, binge watch movies all the time. Like I used to watch things like Aliens and Terminator. It was mad. I can't believe my family actually let me watch it. But yeah, I seem to have turned out okay. I'm quite innocent. But yeah, so this video is going to be a sort of introduction as an author. So I thought, I was looking through YouTube and seeing what sort of content I could put up, because I'm relatively new, and I thought, oh, I've never done like a sort of AuthorTube style thing. I mean, my channel is technically not linked precisely with AuthorTube. It's a bit more sort of broad, but I am an author, and I have a few books out which I can tell you about. But all in all, I would love to speak to you about myself as an author, and hopefully this will resonate with some of you. If you're into like young adult fantasy or writing in general, I thought this could be quite a good series of videos to do. Anyway, so I've got all these questions that I've saved from another author. So I wanted to take part in this challenge, which is the AuthorTube Newbie tag. So yeah, I'm quite a unique author, I would say. And the first question that I'm going to answer. So how many questions are there? Hang on, just so that you guys are aware. There's 13 questions. I will actually post these up in the description in case you want to take part. If you're an author as well, it'd be great to hear from you. Please comment and let me know. Like, hi, Just like a simple hi would do. Let me know if you've subscribed, and also remember to hit that bell just so that you can keep getting notifications of when I'm uploading stuff. So yeah, 13 questions. Quite an unlucky number. But we shall carry on regardless. The show must go on. So to begin with, I am Sophie Ann Russell. That's my pen name. Most people just call me Sophie Russell. I'm like, nice. Yeah, just call me Sophie. Easy enough. But yeah. How did you find out about AuthorTube? I've pretty much discussed this already. I was like looking through YouTube. I think I actually found out about AuthorTube quite a long time ago. Might have been about a few years ago that I first started hearing about it. I didn't realise that it was that much of a thing. And yeah, just like because I thought, I want to do a video, maybe some introductory video to do with writing. Like my books, they're quite important to me, and I thought it might be good to get people aware of what sort of books that I'm doing, and also I want to get more involved in YouTube, and this felt like the right sort of avenue to go down, because like I could go down like the graphic design route and stuff like that, but I felt like in order to focus my mind, I thought AuthorTube, definitely AuthorTube. But I may branch out. If you're interested in lots of different things as well, like lots of different parts of the media, then this channel is basically for you. So I'm gonna be like majority of the time an author channel, but doing a little bit of graphic design and stuff like that as well. So next question. So what genres do you write in? Mainly fantasy, for young adults, teenagers, really, or children, maybe. I haven't really done that much stuff in children because I've been focusing all these years on this one series of books which is aimed at young adults, 13 to 18-year-olds. But yeah, I'm mainly writing fantasy because that's what I love most. I love fantasy books. They get my imagination going and it fits because I'm quite an imaginative sort of person. I like to embellish on things a bit. I like mysteries. I love if there's any other kind of books that I could get into, I think I could get into a good murder mystery. But when I was younger, I had trouble getting into books in general. And I think if it weren't for Harry Potter, then I probably wouldn't be here. And that's a fantasy. So, yeah, I loved reading fantasies the most, so I just ended up naturally going into fantasy. It says, what is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of style? Yeah, I've said young adults is what I have been. I'm comfortable writing for young adults because they're quite. I can go really deep then because I'm quite a philosophical sort of person, and this series that I've come up with, it's very, very deep and spiritual, and it just it happened to coincide with when I had the idea when I was 13 years old. So yeah, young adult fantasy is definitely my jam. So what writing tense? So I prefer the past tense mainly. It's like, you know, he went here. And point of view, I like doing third person narrative because that seems like the norm. There's something about first person. Like, I like reading in first person, but it can be a little bit off-putting at times, and I feel like a third person is generally more accepted. Like the brain tends to process it better for some reason. I don't know why that is, but I'm open to a lot of different tenses. I'm open to experimenting. I might in the future try and go with the first person narrative, but so far I haven't yet done that. Are you a plotter, pantser, or planster? Okay, so I'm gonna have to just give me a sec. Research these. I should have done this before doing this video, to be honest. Plotter. Funnily enough, last week someone asked, "Are you either of these?" And I had to look them up then, and I did come to a conclusion about it. It was on an indie author Facebook page, actually. Someone mentioned it. It's the first ever time that I actually heard about it, so it's convenient that one of the questions is this. But I do need to refresh my mind of what each one is, and also maybe some of you won't know what it is. So I'm going to do a little tutorial for you. Let's have a look. Pantster, plotter, and planster, the three dominant types of writers. So it's basically about where the writers fall into one of three categories, either a pantster, plotter, or planster, or you could be a combination. It's all to do with how you structure your writing, really. So a pantster is a panther is someone who flies by the seat of their pants, meaning they don't plan out anything in their story or plan very little. Okay, freedom is important value for pantsers. A plotter, simply put, a plotter is someone who plans out their novel before they write it. Okay, and a plantster is some people who call themselves plantsers, which means they're a little of both. See, I didn't know that. In reality, most people are plantsers, but some tend to lean heavily to one side. A plantser could be someone who, before writing, writes a synopsis and comes up with important details that drive their story ideas, or they could be the kind of writer that enjoys planning out their subplots and character arcs, but during the writing of the novel goes rogue. Oh my god, that's definitely me. I think I'm a plantser. See, I didn't read this before. The answer that I came up with the other week was like a bit of each, and I don't know what I thought plantser was. Okay, so I feel like I've just found out my Hogwarts house there. By the way, Harry Potter fans, give a big cheer. Okay, back to right. So number 5. Are you a self-published, published, or yet to be published? I am self-published. I kind of fell into it. I met a lovely community of self-publishing authors online. They welcomed me with open arms on Facebook, and I couldn't recommend them enough, really. In case you're interested, they're called Clean Indie Reads. It's a pretty good page on Facebook to be a part of. So, number 6. What publishing company, literary agent, and a printing company are you represented by or use? If you're not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? So I originally wanted to go with maybe Bloomsbury or Penguin. Actually would have been ideal for me. But I mean, I'm pretty open. I was always pretty open to the idea of self-publishing. It excited me a lot. So I have my own little imprint which I've created. It's called Turtle Rabbit Books, and I feel like it really suits the series. Yeah, pretty much. So next question is, what AuthorTube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? I've been contemplating about this. If you have any suggestions, I welcome any and all. Just please jot them down in the comment section. But I'm just kind of winging it. I'm one of those people who's just like, I'll have an idea for something and I'll be like, I have to go do it, and I'll do it right away. I don't like to plan things out too much, because otherwise the things have a habit of going wrong that way. And I like to stay in the moment. So at the moment, what I'm envisioning is where I talk a bit more about my experiences in writing, like self-publishing. If that's something that you guys are interested in, if you've ever wanted to self-publish, I know how to use KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, and so I could do more videos on that. I could do videos on how I create my book covers, because I'm a graphic designer. I can do that. I could do pretty much everything and anything to do with AuthorTube. So I'm just gonna leave you guys to give me any suggestions. But yeah, I'm sure you guys will have a better idea of what you want from me than the other way around, really. I know what I would like to do, which is to create loads of animations and stuff like that and pop them up on this channel, and also do some stuff like this, like Q&As or podcasts or stuff like that. Just talking, really, about writing or whatever. Number 8. When did you start writing? When I was 13 and a half years old. I think I was doing a little bit here and there before that, but funny thing is, I never considered myself to be a natural born writer before I actually became one. And before I was like 13, I was mainly into movies. I'm more of a visual person, so I can imagine things as like movie sequences. I started out basically drawing these characters in my story, and I wanted to get one up on my English literature project. It was in year 10, And I remember the year before, I did really badly in creative writing. I got quite a bad grade for it because I didn't know what I was doing. I left everything to last minute. I got severe writer's block with it. Like, I didn't know what to do it about, so I just ended up just writing whatever. And I stressed myself out doing that. So the following year, I remembered this. I remembered what happened, and I just thought, I'm not going to go through that again. So on that moment, I came up with 3 story ideas. One of them happened to be the story that I eventually ended up turning into a book series, which is self-published at the moment. And it's just funny, really, because like a couple weeks after I decided to come up with these initial story ideas, just so that I was prepared, just in case like we ended up being set a creative writing project. Literally, my tutor like announced to us, I'm gonna give you a creative writing project, and I was like, no way. And so, like, you know, I believe in destiny, and I feel like that's a prime example of just something destined to happen. And so, yeah, I never considered myself a writer, like a natural born writer. I felt like I really had to teach myself writing, and I had to have the dedication. And I saw it as a challenge, really. So halfway through, I was so excited about that project. I thought, finally, I'll be able to like prove myself, prove that I can do writing. And halfway through the project, I thought, actually, this is quite a good story. And like all I did was just like drew out the characters, and I came up with a kind of semblance of a plot. And it just felt cool, and I loved the characters, and I could see it expanding. So I just wound up really just deciding one day, I'm gonna carry this on, and I'm gonna treat it as like a lifelong project. Even if it takes me like several years, it doesn't matter. Like it's gonna be fun. And yeah, so that's when I started writing properly. What was the first story you ever wrote? I don't think it was actually this one. Before that, I think it was in year 8, we had to write a little short story. I think, according to my mum, I did used to come up with stories a lot when I was younger. I think it was some of it was just copied a lot. Like I borrowed things from different places, which is normal. But I didn't use my imagination, my creativity to its fullest potential with a lot of my writing until this particular book series, till I was like 13, and I really took it seriously. Yeah, number 10. What authors have inspired your writing the most? J.K. Rowling, for sure. I know there's a lot of hype around J.K. Rowling at the moment, and I totally understand why a lot of people don't. They're sort of a little bit on the fence about her. But if it weren't for J.K. Rowling, I would not be here. That's the crux of it. I would be on a completely different path of life. I would probably be doing like animation, stuff like that, just really focusing on that. Because before the Harry Potter books, before the Harry Potter movies, I was not into reading at all. I would never have considered myself a writer. And J.K. Rowling wrote in such a way that I could understand things. I could understand the plot. I could understand the characters. And she was so deep, like surprisingly deep. And there was some I thought before the movies came out that Harry Potter was just like your average fantasy, like really cheesy. And I avoided it like the plague. Like everyone was saying, you've got to read this, and I was like, no, I can't. I don't want to read a really big book that's like not about anything deep and meaningful. How wrong was I? And yeah, my sister dragged me off to see the first movie at cinema. I was about 9 years old, something like that, and the rest is history. Really, I became literally overnight. I became a really hardcore fan, and I didn't expect to actually end up here. I didn't expect to become a writer. It was the last thing that I wanted to be. But it's just that the right story came along, and I think, yeah, Harry Potter really planted a seed. And I feel like my style almost sort of is similar to J.K. Rowling's style. So the next question. 11. Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you can find the time? I'm both, to be honest. It's mind you, I'm not that anal about it, to be honest. I'm not one of those writers who just sits down and says, I have to write this many words. It's more a case where I'm so into the end result. I'm so excited about seeing the end result, getting to the end, that I just end up sitting down and writing for hours, or for as long as it takes to get the thing finished. And sometimes I have to really be methodical and make sure that I don't burn myself out. And I do tend to burn myself out. With my books, I sat down and wrote whenever I felt like it. And most of that was all the time, really. I felt like writing every hour of the day because the story excited me so much. There were times when I had to actually force myself off the laptop or pen and paper. It was unbelievable, like how much I was really hyper focusing on it, really. But so, yeah, some authors do like to they set goals, and I did set myself goals. I set myself get myself to the end of this chapter by such and such a date, and invariably it would be the right timing, and I would get it done in time. But mostly I'd just be like, whatever I feel like doing. If there was a time when I was so severely burnt out that I didn't feel like writing, I just wouldn't write. And there was a time when I was so insecure about my writing style that I just didn't want to stop, because I felt like the moment that I stopped, I would lose the ability. But after I started getting on a roll, I felt a bit more comfortable, a bit more confident about my ability to write. So now I can just I can write whenever I feel like it without feeling guilty or anything like that. Like if I want to take a very long break, I will. I know I will get down to it eventually. I've got very good determination. So next question. Do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general? When I started writing this series, I was trying to write on my laptop, and I found that I was overthinking it so much that I got severe writer's block, like for 4 years, I think it lasted. And eventually I had to take a break, and funnily enough, my brother gave me a birthday present one year, which was a special writing pen. And I thought, wow, this is so cool, I really want to use it. And that pen ended up being a godsend, because I bought myself a special hardback notebook, and because I was at the time I was really struggling to get my book out, my first book. I was like stuck on this one sentence in the first chapter. I could never get past it, and I got out the pen, got out the pad of paper, and I wrote up to the bit where I always got stuck, and then I thought, Sophie, you have to let go of all your inhibitions. You have to let go of any expectation that you have, and just write whatever comes to mind. It doesn't matter if it's wrong, like grammatically or whatever, just write. And it's something about that pen that actually released something. It's almost like pen to paper. It releases a chemical. I don't know what it is. It's just like, it's magic. And so from that point on, it just all spilled out of me, and so I was hooked on using that pen for the first 4 books. I think it was 5 books. I think I ended up writing the first 5 of my books in the traditional classic pen and paper, and then just like putting them all onto a laptop. I got quite superstitious, I have to say, but after I got into the groove, I got a bit more confident. I just decided, sod it, I'm gonna go straight to the laptop, because I was getting really bad strain on my fingers, and I needed to give them a rest. So I just thought, and I didn't want to wait so long for the book to actually be on the laptop, because I would have to, type it all out again and stuff like that. So yeah, it became easier for me to write when I was doing it by pen and paper. And to this, I still, like, if I want to write a book, I think I would try and revert back to that. But it has helped me to write better on the laptop. So I think I can do a bit of both, really, at the end of the day. But yeah, so that's a tip for you. If you're struggling to get your thoughts out, just get a special writer's pen or something. Like, do it. Get a notebook. Write it all out in the notebook. It will change your life, because it will get you to focus in a completely different way. It will get you to really think about what you're saying, and kind of like go with the flow a bit more. Whereas I feel like typing it out there's something a bit sort of, it's robotic, isn't it? So it's a bit more rigid. I don't know why it doesn't seem to get us in the zone better. But yes, so the next question. What are you most looking forward to now that you're part of AuthorTube? Quite exciting. I'm looking forward to the interaction, to be honest. I would love more people to get involved in what I do. I'm quite a sociable sort of person, so it'll be nice to make some new friends out of this. And just sort of like, I want to get my creative juices flowing. I've always envisioned myself doing more stuff on YouTube. And I feel like once I get the ball rolling with this AuthorTube content, I'll be able to really make the most of my channel. That was the final question. I guess I feel like, is there an extra question that I can add to this? So, okay. Question I would like to ask myself is, what is my book? So my book is, I have it to hand, The Story of Jason Griffin. And I do have it on paperback at the moment. This is the fairly recent cover, except I have changed it. I shall show you what the new cover looks like. But I was very happy with this cover, but I ended up creating a totally different cover for it that is even better, which I think you guys would love. I've already got some pretty good feedback from it, from other indie authors. But yeah, so as you can see, it's quite a hefty book. This is the first book in the series. It's a 7-part series, and it's about a teenage boy. He's around 15 years old, and he learns the devastating truth that his foster parents are not his real parents, first of all, and also that they're not even real people. And it's all about his journey of self-discovery, finding out where he comes from. And he's been brought up on this enchanted lake house on this lake that exists in a whole other part of the universe. And so he finds that he has to leave the place that he grew up in to go search for his real family, and he learns that there's a lot more magic to the universe than he first thought. And then all this triggers something inside him, and he starts to see lots of different magical things in the world. Like he finds a portal to another dimension, and I'm not going to give too much away, but that is another part of the story that is really, really important. So yeah, if you're into portal fantasy, or just like, fantasies where you get to the character gets to really run free. Like, it's not exactly like Harry Potter in that it's about going to a school or something like that. It's not your average fantasy. And if you're a deep thinker like I am, and you're into spirituality, then this series is definitely for you. The reason I decided to write it is basically because there weren't many books, actually there were hardly any, that I could get into as a teenager. There was only Harry Potter, there was Percy Jackson, and I swear it was Percy Jackson, and what else was there? There was like a few other ones that I tried out, but they just didn't seem to call to me the same way that Harry Potter did. And at the end of the day, I wanted to fill a void. I felt like there must be loads of other teenagers like I was, who struggle to get into reading, who need something else, who need something cool to read. I don't know what it was about, like, what it was about books in general. It was just, for some reason, I couldn't get into them. But Harry Potter, I could. And I'm thankful that they turned it into a movie, because I was able to really appreciate it then. It's because I'm quite a visual person, and I need things to absorb in a visual and auditory way. But yeah, so if you're into unique stuff, and if you're bored of reading Harry Potter every day, then I think this will intrigue you for sure. So it's called The Story of Jason Griffin. This one's The Tales of the Two Servants, book 1. I've got the first 3 books up so far. I'm doing a cover change. I've already changed the first book's cover, and this sort of cover is still on the other ones. I will update them in due course. That will be the next thing on my to-do list. But anyway, so what date is it now? It's like when I filmed it, it's the 14th of the 12th, 2021. Nearly Christmas. So it's a good time, really, to start getting into some books, I guess. My next thing I would really love to do is just a simple animation. I want to do like a Christmassy video, which I've got up in my head, which I think I'm going to release it very soon. So for now, thank you all for watching, and again, thank you for subscribing. If this is the first time that you've come across my channel and you love this video, if you're interested in what I'm doing, please subscribe and remember to hit that bell, the little bell. But yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for being a part of this channel. I really appreciate it. As much support as you can give me, really, being fairly new author tuber. Again, any ideas of what sort of videos to post up, please comment below. I hope everyone's enjoying their Christmas holidays. Merry Christmas in advance, and I look forward to interacting with you guys more in future. Bye bye. Sayonara.